Welcome back, coin fanatics, treasure hunters, and everybody who knows that real wealth is hiding right in your pocket change. My name is Eva Old Coins, and today we are ripping the veil off one of the most common, yet secretly explosive dates in American coinage history, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. If you have one of these, you are not holding 5 cents. You are holding a coin born from panic, a relic of industrial chaos, and a potential ticket to a 4-figure payday. You have got to stick with me, because this story is nonstop drama, and you need to know exactly what mistakes to look for. Let's set the stage, because the history here is pure Hollywood. The year is 1964. America is reeling from President Kennedy's tragedy. The culture is exploding, and the entire U.S. financial system is freaking out. This is the absolute final year that silver dimes and quarters were struck for circulation, causing massive public hoarding. People were pulling coins out of circulation faster than the mint could make them. The U.S. Mint was in emergency mode, pumping out currency at a relentless, almost reckless pace to prevent the economy from stalling. This is the ultimate stress test on American manufacturing, and the result? Nearly 3 billion 1964 nickels were struck. Think about that colossal volume. Over 1 billion came out of the Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark on those. And another enormous 1.7 billion came from the Denver Mint, marked with that little d. This sheer, unstoppable flood of coinage is the reason the 1964 nickel is everywhere. But it's also the exact reason that the errors and the perfection hidden within that flood are worth so much money. The crisis-level speed caused huge problems. The coin itself is the standard 75% copper, 25% nickel, but the striking quality is often atrocious due to the speed and the overworked dies. And that, my friends, brings us to the ultimate numismatic flex, the full steps designation. Flip your 1964 nickel over right now. Look at Monticello. Forget the dome. Look at the entrance steps. Are they soft? Are they blurry? They probably are. But if you find that magical coin where all 5 or 6 steps are sharply defined, crisp, and clearly separate, a feature that was incredibly difficult to achieve given the mint's breakneck pace, you have found the full steps coin. This is the micro-perfection that collectors are paying massive premiums for. For 1964 D, a coin graded mint state 65 with those perfect, tiny full steps is instantly worth hundreds of dollars. But for the absolute, untouched champions, the MS 66 full step specimens, those coins have changed hands for over $1,500. That is $1,000+ for a 5-cent piece simply because the die hit it just right in the midst of national chaos. The drama is real, and it's captured on that tiny house. But the real fireworks, the absolute high-stakes game that gets collectors' hearts pounding, is the hunt for the spectacular mint errors. The high-speed, crisis-level production of 1964 created some of the most dramatic and valuable mistakes in the entire series. The number 1 target? The legendary 1964 double die reverse, DDR. This is not subtle. You're looking for a clear, undeniable doubling, an offset shadow, primarily visible on the lettering like Monticello and 5 cents. The die slipped, the press fired again, and boom, a treasure was born. High-grade, certified examples of the 1964 DDR are blue-chip collectibles, routinely selling for anywhere from $500 up to $2,500. Finding this error is the coin collecting equivalent of hitting the jackpot. It's a beautiful, costly factory malfunction. And keep searching for the other massive errors. Look for the jaw-dropping off-center strikes. Because of the relentless speed, planchets were constantly misfed. Find a 1964 nickel where the design is stamped way off to the side, leaving a huge blank crescent of metal, and you've got an instant winner. The more dramatic the error, the more of the coin is missing, the higher the value. And these frequently sell for hundreds of dollars. Don't forget the signs of die failure. That massive production run mint dies were cracking under the pressure. Look for die cracks and cuts, raised lines and big, chunky lumps of metal near the rim or within the design. These dramatic scars of the 1964 coinage crisis are highly prized and can fetch serious collector money, pushing values easily into the mid-hundreds. The 1964 nickel isn't just a coin. It's the final, massive roar of the old American coinage system right before the Great Change. It's the last of the mint mark series before the mint temporarily removed them to fight hoarding. It's the absolute dramatic end of an era, and its accessibility makes it the perfect hunting ground for everyone watching right now. Every time you get a handful of change, a 3 billion to 1 chance at finding a spectacular error or a flawless strike is waiting for you. So, here's the bottom line. The next 1964 nickel you touch is not 5 cents. It is a mystery waiting to be solved. Check those steps. Scan for that doubling. Look for the dramatic mistakes. This is the most accessible, high-reward scavenger hunt in hobby. If this deep, dramatic dive has you hyped and ready to start checking every coin you find, then you absolutely need to join our crew. Show your support. Smash that like button. Let's blow this video up. Drop a comment below and tell me what amazing coin you have found in circulation. And most importantly, subscribe and ring that notification bell. We are constantly finding high-value treasures, and you do not want to miss the next big discovery. Let the hunt begin. You're digging through your loose change. You find a nickel. You look at the date, 1994. You see the little D for Denver, and you think, common coin, 5 cents, worthless. Wrong. You are holding a potential sleeper hit, a quiet giant of modern American numismatics. And I'm about to show you the secret, dramatic details that can turn this everyday, low-denomination coin into a certified, auction-ready treasure worth thousands of dollars. Forget everything you thought you knew about modern pocket change. We are diving deep into the microscopic universe of the 1994 Jefferson Nickel. And trust me, you're going to want to check every single one of these you find. First, let's talk about the absolute colossal scale of this coin's creation, because the drama starts with the numbers. In 1994, the Denver Mint was an absolute powerhouse. They hammered out a mind-blowing, staggering 715,762,110 of these nickels for circulation. 700 million coins. This is why it's so common, why it's everywhere. But that massive volume is the perfect camouflage for the rare, glorious exceptions. When you're churning out coins at that industrial speed, two things happen. The perfect strikes become nearly impossible, and the spectacular errors become inevitable. We as collectors hunt both. The coin itself is the classic copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Designed to last, designed to be tough. The design, Felix Schlag's timeless portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the iconic Monticello, has been around for decades. But the true, high-stakes value of the 1994 D doesn't come from the design itself. It comes from the execution of the design, specifically in one tiny, crucial area. I need you to grab your magnifying glass. Flip the coin over and look at Monticello. Focus your entire attention on the steps leading up to the main entrance. On 99.9% of the 1994 D nickels you will ever find, those steps are going to be weak, soft, or merged together, just a blurry slope. But the coin that pays the bills, the coin that collectors dream about, is the one where you can clearly, sharply, and distinctly see all 5 or 6 steps separate from each other. This is the full steps FS designation, and for a coin from the mid-90s, it is the definition of numismatic perfection and extreme rarity. Why is the full steps designation such a big deal for the 1994 D? Because by the 90s, the Mint's equipment and dies, while fast, were struggling to bring up those high-relief details consistently. To get a full steps 1994 D, the striking conditions had to be absolutely flawless, a new die, perfectly aligned with a clean planchet, and that coin had to instantly escape the harsh reality of circulation. It's a literal manufacturing miracle, and its rarity is what creates the jaw-dropping value. Let's talk dollars and cents, or in this case, dollars and thousands of dollars. A regular 1994 D in mint state, untouched, might be worth a few dollars to a collector. But the moment you find one with certified full steps, the value takes a dramatic, nonstop leap. An MS 66 full steps 1994 D nickel will instantly put $100 or more in your pocket. But the true treasure? The finest known specimens, those graded MS 67 full steps, which are extremely scarce, have realized over $1,000 at auction. Think about that. $1,000 for a 5-cent piece struck in Denver in the Clinton era. The difference between a common coin and a $1,000 prize is just a few perfectly struck lines on a building. That is the captivating drama of modern numismatics. But the thrill doesn't stop with perfection. As I said, in a mintage of 700 million, mistakes are a fact of life. And for us, those mistakes are spectacular. We're talking about the high-value mint errors that transform a common date into an extraordinary artifact of the industrial process. You absolutely must be on the hunt for off-center strikes. Because the presses were running so fast, occasionally a planchet would be misfed, resulting in the dies striking the metal off-center. A dramatic 1994 D nickel that is struck 50% or more off-center, leaving a huge blank crescent of metal on one side, is a visual stunner. Collectors pay serious money for these catastrophic errors. We're talking high hundreds into the thousands of dollars, depending on the severity and clarity of the off-center strike. It's a beautifully deformed piece of art, a glorious testament to a machine's momentary failure. And we need to talk about the repunched mint mark, RPM varieties. The D4 Denver, while applied more precisely in the 90s than in earlier years, can still show doubling or a slight shifting shadow where the punch was applied slightly more than once. The sharp-eyed cherry picker, equipped with a high-power loop, can find these subtle shifts. An authenticated 1994 D RPM, especially if combined with a high, uncirculated grade, is a specialized high-demand variety that can easily fetch hundreds of dollars. It's a tiny, microscopic flaw that creates massive collector value. Also keep your eyes peeled for die cracks and cuts. The sheer workload on the Denver mint dies in 1994 meant they were constantly under stress. When a die cracked or a piece broke off, it left raised lines, cracks, or large raised lumps of metal, cuds, on the coin surface. These errors, though technically flaws, are highly prized by collectors for their dramatic appearance and the evidence they provide of the coin's violent birth process. A huge cut on the rim of a 1994 D? That's an immediate, high-value coin worth several $100. The 1994 D is also a historical marker, a solid representative of the last full generation of the classic Jefferson Nickel design before the dramatic westward journey redesign started happening in the early 2000s. It represents the end of an era, and collectors value it as the perfect, yet flawed, representation of late 20th century U.S. coinage. The interest in the 1994 D is a fascinating collector paradox. It's common, but the rarities within it are immense. The hunt for that flawless full-step strike is an enduring challenge, and the search for the highly dramatic, high-value errors makes checking every single one of these nickels a mandatory exercise for any serious change checker. It's a game of microscopic details, where a fraction of a millimeter difference in a die strike translates directly into 4 figures in realized auction value. The commonality is the key to the opportunity. These coins are out there, they are accessible, and they are waiting for you to discover their secret. So, listen to me. The next time a 1994 D nickel drops into your palm, do not spend it. Stop. Look at those steps. Check that mint mark. Scan the field for those dramatic errors. You are holding the most accessible, high-reward sleeping giant in the modern series. You are holding a potential $1,000 coin. If the nonstop thrill of the hunt for these hidden modern treasures has you hooked, if you're ready to put this knowledge to work, then you need to join our community right now. Hit that like button to show your appreciation for the deep dive. Leave a comment below telling me what modern coin you've had the most luck finding. And most importantly, subscribe and ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss our next video because we are constantly uncovering